Yeah, so let's talk about the ACAC because obviously Adams Central goes down and plays for a state championship, comes up just short last year. A lot of turnover there. Ryan Black returns at quarterback, and they kind of do what they do, though,
Right, yeah.
out at the landing strip. And similar, just down the road at Byrne, they kind of do what they do at South Adams now. So those are, again, like we talked about at the Northeast State, this is like 1A, 1B kind of year in and year out. So how do you see this one shaking out now that we've got a new season ahead of us?
Well, Michael Mosier will tell you that they have to replace a lot of production. They do. Alex Curry gone, Blake Hirely gone. You know, some really, really strong players both ways for the Flying Jets. But that junior class is tremendous in terms of talent in there. The sophomore class is going to have some emerging guys. So you're having some replacement guys come in, but man, those guys are really good. And I think when you talk to people in the ACAC, it still is AC at the top. Despite what they lost, and we saw them get to a state championship game last year, and you look at this and say, you know, is anybody going to trip up AC in Class A in the North? It's an open question. Those are the expectations the outsiders have. But Michael Mosier probably a little tempering the excitement a little bit because he's got some new kids in some new places.
And then with South Adams, I mean, obviously, you know, Owen Warner got some experience at the quarterback position. Unfortunate how it happened.
Right.
But in the long term, maybe a little bit of a silver lining now that they've got a little more experience there. And we saw them in 7-on-7. They fared very well out at Carroll High School, won the small school championship. So how do you see this team putting things together as they move forward?
They're still going to be the most dynamic offense in the ACAC in terms of what they do. And Owen Warner, you know, throwing for 20 touchdowns as a sophomore was huge. Now he has the experience. You have guys like Max Somerset coming back that have experience. And like familiar last names, but different players, right? You know, with the generational thing in Byrne. So
yeah, Beal, Somerset.
Right. So, you know, the big thing for South Adams is physically, can they compete with Adams Central? And I think that's the big question that decides this league is South Adams, they have the players, but when South Adams has been able to be better than Adams Central, they've been better in the trenches. And I'm not sure if South Adams is there at this point. Could they get there by the time they meet in the middle of the season? Yes. But I think that's the biggest question mark for South Adams if they can challenge the Flying Jets.
My only other question for the ACAC, Woodland, Bluffton, Heritage, Jay County, Southern Wells, who do you see coming out of that fray as being the next team to beat in the ACAC?
Heritage. For me.
We've talked about it for a while with Coach Colton. Like, he'll turn it eventually.
We talk about guys that have rebuilt programs. Talk about Sherwood Haydock. And we've seen Coach Kolkman do it with Northside and Bluffton and now at Heritage. And you feel when you look at that group and they have enough coming back and that culture has been instilled through the first couple seasons that now you can get down to business. Now you can go into Friday nights expecting to get some wins instead of we're in it to get some experience and lay the foundation. Now it's okay, let's get some wins. And I think they have a good enough group there. And the league lays out to where you look at Heritage and, you know, last couple of years it was maybe that Bluffton lone third place team that was kind of in a land of its own. And now that could potentially be Heritage sitting there behind the Adams County duo.